All right, everybody, away we go. Welcome to today's call. It is Friday, my favorite day of the week, November 13th, 2020. Friday the 13th. Boo! Come on, let's go. We are going to do at what we have been doing, which is split the call for inside sales / telemarketing. That's what that's called. And then outside sales. So I'm going to flip flop it. Last week I started with outside sales. This week I'm going right after inside and telemarketing. And I've got Gail up. I see that Paul has sent me something. So I'm going to try to get through as many of these in a half hour as I possibly can. And we will go from there. So if somebody would just double check that the mics, Gail, if you could undo your mic for a second, make sure that we're going live because you're going to be in the hot seat with me. I can't hear you, so that means I've got an adjustment I've got to make. So hang on one second. Yep, I do have to make it. Hang on one second. Okay, try me again. Okay, that wasn't it. Try me again. Now I got you, I think.
Hello.
All right,
Hi,
there we go. Fabulous. Hi, Gail. All right, so yes, you asked and ye shall receive. We're going to go right after this recording from you. And,
Okay.
and so, guys, hang on, guys. Come on now. Manage those microphones. All right, so here we go, Gail. We have a call from Amanda that we're going to go right after, okay? You with me?
I'm with you.
Okay, good. All right, stay with me because I got a lot of windows going here. I'm just trying to figure out where the heck I am. Bear with me. And if the rest of you, as you come in here to the call, please keep your mic muted so we can hear these. All right, do you want to give me, I have both for Hassan here. Do you want to give me an idea of what I'm about to listen to and what you would like me to be listening to? And is Amanda live with me too?
Yes.
Okay.
So Amanda, please explain to him just a wee bit.
Amanda,
Hello?
Amanda. Okay.
right.
Not hearing her. Let's just roll.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Ready? Let's just take it raw. We'll hear what we hear.
Hi, Hassan. This is Amanda. I confirmed with Gail, and she said 1 o'clock would be great. And she just asked me to get the best email for you. She wanted to send you a couple of things before then.
E as Edward, B as boy, A as apple, D as dog, A as apple, T as Tom, R C H at yahoo.com.
Okay, wonderful. So your last name and then RCH at Yahoo.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I will get that to her, and then you two will have a nice time taking the tour on Saturday at 1.
Saturday at 1 o'clock.
Yes.
Okay. All right. No problem.
Okay. Have a super evening. Okay, talk to you soon.
Okay, Gail, that's just a confirmation call. Is that what you want me to listen to?
That's the second one.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
the second one. I wanted
There's
the first.
two there. There are two there. The
Okay.
first one is
Okay.
the other one.
All right, here we go.
Hassan, this is Amanda from Rossetti Realty. And the reason I'm calling is we saw your beautiful home online, but it appears that it didn't sell. So I wanted to mail you a package of information that includes the seller's strategic plan and will help you sell it the next time. And I would like to confirm the mailing address for that.
Actually, I don't want to put it, on the market now. But if you have any buyer, you're welcome to see anytime you want it and give me the, offer.
Okay, I will let my broker know. So it sounds like your plans have changed. Do you live there now?
No. The price is stable because if I wanted to change it, it goes 3 months ago.
Okay, but you don't live there then? Or you do live
No.
there?
Say it again?
Do you live there now? Are you staying in the home now?
No. The house is empty, and even there is no stage anymore there.
Oh, okay. Were you living in it before and you've already moved? Or did you have it as a rental before?
No, we are in other location. No, I have another house. Yeah, I have another house in another location.
Okay, so you found what you were looking for and then you just moved. All right
Yeah.
then. And how motivated are you to sell this one then? Let me say on a 1 to 10.
Yeah. So I wanted to come to my budget around 2.45.
Okay, so you have a price that you want to make sure that you stick with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
And then I'll
but
bring
if
it
you
down.
have that price, you want to sell it right away then?
Yeah.
Okay. All right then. So our broker is Gail, and she's the one that wrote the strategic plan. But normally when someone wants to have buyers, like you said, she would want to come and have a tour. Do you have availability to do that maybe tomorrow or Saturday with her?
On Saturday is better. Yeah, Saturday.
Okay, what is the best time for you? And then I'll have to confirm with her.
Okay. All right. I'm going to stop it there. Gail, what are you hearing and what are your concerns?
Well, what I'm hearing, what I'm hearing is, what I want to hear is if he wants the package. So the first beat has to be, and may I mail that to you, or may I send that to you, or whatever, so that we can find definitively what it is. I need to know why he's selling. I don't know why he's selling. I don't know his story. I'm going to go there on a tour, not a listing presentation. I mean, I'm going to do that, but I'm set up not in a position that I want to be.
Right.
The seller questionnaire wasn't asked, and so I'm going to do that myself today. But it feels as though I'm just going to go look at the house and not actually do a listing presentation. That's what I'm hearing.
Okay. Amanda, what are you hearing?
Well, when I asked him to confirm the address, he told me really that he didn't want the package mailed. He doesn't want to put the property on the market, so he doesn't want a list.
Mm-hmm.
He has a price that in his mind, that's what he wants to get, which I can't discuss price. And Gail and I talked about it, and we said when they go on price, since we're not allowed to talk about price, the next thing I could have said was, oh, well, then it sounds like if you had a list of everything that sold in your area while you were on the MLS, it would help you see where you fit in. So that was the only thing I didn't have available to say to him. When I heard him say about his price, I was like, ugh, now I can't talk to him about price.
All right.
But I did say about the address. I just didn't say it. What I did was I tried to do what you told me to do, which is not say, you don't have to say the script verbatim, but make sure you get the beats in and kind of go like in a conversational way. So I did that, and I took out the may I do that because we said that wasn't an uptick question. We're basically saying, I'm mailing this to you. What's the address? So I just said it a little differently, and he said he didn't want a list. He would obviously take a buyer, and he had this price. Yeah. He also, when I tried to ask him if he was living in it before or if it was a rental, he avoided that question.
Okay.
And then he was just like, no, we just don't live there.
All right, hold on. Let's break it down. There's a lot going on here. Let me break this down. Yeah. A couple of things. Number one, I hope I didn't give you permission to stray that much. Okay, because when I was taking some notes when you were talking, you're inserting things that are word whiskers, fillers that really don't belong in that first 6 or 7 seconds, right? I was just talking about this to Yvonne, who I've invited on to listen here, somebody that we're considering, adding on to our telemarketing team. And the idea is, look, at the end of the day, you're adding things. This is filled with filler. And when you're losing your way to be effective for the outcome that Gail's looking for. So it can be very subtle. So let me go back and break down what I heard. What I heard was that you said things in that first 7 seconds that are not necessary until we get to an objection. So it's more like, Amanda, this is Danny Griffin calling from Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling is because I saw your beautiful house online and I noticed it didn't sell. So I wanted to send you some information that will help you sell it the next time. If you start saying that includes, he's trying to figure out who you are, where you're from, why you're calling, and now what is it? What you're saying? You're confusing him with 2 words, and I highlighted it here. That includes. And then you said something about a listing plan, and you're dead. right there, you're dead. And I'll tell you why. It's not what he wants. It's what he needs eventually. He should have had it to begin with. He needs a plan. People don't understand that when they go to sell their house, this is a major league issue that they don't have a plan. And that this is a process. It's not, oh, are you a marketer? Oh, how many agents do you have? All the things that a seller perceives that this is wrong because it is a process. That's just universally a fact. It's immutable. It's not my opinion. It's a process. So what we're trying to do is get them information that will help them go through the process themselves. Now, that will include, if he says, well, what are you sending me? Then you say the two things that are in it because you're just stating fact. 5 or 6 pictures of properties that sold around you in your price range, and a copy of the 7-step plan that Gail uses, right? To customize for her clients. We're going to give that to you as a gift. You can do whatever you want with it. You can do, right? That's how that works. So you can go in there and you can do whatever you want with that package when it gets there. So there's no obligation, obviously, in that mentality, but it is super. Oh, yep. Yeah. Hi. Yeah. Hang on. I got to keep you all muted. Okay. So here's the bottom line. I can see you, Yvonne. So the bottom line though, is what happens is when you get into that situation and you think you're being conversational and light, you're losing your way. And it's like imagine you being you're in a boat and you're going to leave Boston Harbor and you want to get to England and you are 1 degree off. It doesn't sound like much, right? But I bet if you chart that out, I'm no boater, but if you chart that out, you're not in England, okay, by the time you get there. So that's the direction that one little quip that includes, because now his brain goes somewhere else. This is why I'm saying you all have to be teachable and trainable in that first beat, especially because it's a very particular thing that's differentiating you and making you different from everybody else. That's the key point, okay? So when you go there, like don't stray in that beginning because you're losing control to all his objections. He's getting defensive. And I think, I'm not going to blame it completely on those words, but I think that the minute you went to him and you said that includes, he's trying to figure out, here's another realtor who wants my listing. And he gets defensive. You can hear it in what he says to you. He says, well, I don't want to list right now. He gets defensive because remember, you've got competition that are doing something similar by trying to just get in the door. They're not trying to be of service. If you are not of service first, then you can't get him in a place of calmness. He gets defensive. And if he's high D, he starts attacking, right? So it's very, very subtle, but I'm going to correct. If I said something, I'll take full responsibility. I'm going to correct what I said to you. I want you to read the first part. To the best of your ability, make it sound conversational. Read it because it is 6 or 7 uninterrupted seconds when it's done correctly because we don't take that big pregnant pause. Danny? And then wait. It doesn't sound like that. It says, Danny, I saw you beautiful, right? Boom. You just go right into it. There's no pause. Danny, this is Dan. Well, let me just do it to Gail. Gail, this is Danny Griffin calling from Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling is because I saw your beautiful house online. I noticed it didn't sell, so I wanted to send you some information that will help you sell it the next time. May I do that? That is a rhetorical question because the person that still wants to do something is logically in their brain going to click and go, well, yes. Now they may say to you, well, what are you sending me? Okay. They may say that. And then that's fair. Right? If they say, what are you sending me? And you click over to, well, you don't go to the plan. I hear you trying to oversell the plan. You don't know enough about the plan. You don't know. And I don't need you to know enough about the plan, right? What I need you to do is I need you to just say, I'm sending you this black and white, right? 5 or 6 pictures of the properties that sold around you from the MLS, complete with pictures and details. That's, my dear, what they want. That's what they want.
Okay, so say that first. Okay,
100%.
I think I got on the plan.
But hold on. Yeah, hold on.
We're the only one with the plan, so
Yeah,
it seemed like it was the emphasis.
It is not yet. Let Gail express that. Your warm up is I call it this all the time. I want you to write this down. This package is the equivalent of a benevolent Trojan horse. Did you know the story of the Trojan horse? Right?
Yes.
They wheeled
Yes.
it through the gates and all the guys were inside and they came out and killed everybody, right? So in this case, we just want to get the Trojan horse, which truly is a gift like the historical Trojan horse, but what's in it is benevolent. It is to help them because they don't know what they don't know. And I was just expressing this, earlier today. A lot of people have intellectual insecurity, especially where you guys live. Everybody's got a PhD or a master's or, everybody's a genius in Palo Alto. Okay. Let's just assume that. And so the minute you try to get in this debate about what they need, you're dead. Instantly, you will get shot. It's not like listening to some of these calls in the Midwest or the Upper West where people are so, accommodating, especially Wisconsin, right? When we're talking to Carol, they're just accommodating. So you don't have that luxury. I don't have that luxury. So people are going to cut us off very, very quickly. So you have to gain control by being a true gift giver of service, and you have to understand this package. If you look at the Zillows and the Redfins of the world, they didn't even exist in the early part of my career. But they were the first companies to say, what do the people want? Realtors kept everything proprietary. They kept it hidden in the MLS. You had to come to us. There was a gatekeeper. When all of a sudden that was opened and freed via the internet, they understood it better than everybody else. They gave the public what the public wanted, which was easy, unfettered access to all the properties and their details. That's what they did. We're taking this a step further. We're going into the MLS that serves that same tech online, and we're curating 5 or 6 properties, meaning we're doing the work to go in and say, here's where you were, here's your price range, here's the kind of stuff that, sold in that range in your category, printed with all the pictures and details, put in a package. Forget the plan for a second. That's a huge service. Curation. The time taken to be of service, to produce that printed package, to mail that out to somebody is of service. And people say, oh, they can get it online. No, they cannot. They are busy. No, they do not want to sit there filtering through hundreds of things trying to interpret which ones they should get and let alone print. So it is a huge service, and I'm going to oversell it to you today. You best be in tune with that. Oh, and by the way, I'm also going to slip in a copy of Gail's 7-step plan. It's the exact one she customizes and personalizes for her clients. Wink, wink. You got it? That's the Trojan horse soldier that's going to pop out, because I'm going to give you the gift of curated and printed properties, but my plan's going to pop out. I'm going to give you the wireframe to my plan, with or without me. This is a true gift, but it's going to pop out, and they're going to go, how come nobody gave me that before? Right? And that's how you can shift gears into upselling us. Well, if you would like some personalization of that, Gail would love to stop by and give you some tips against the plan. That's also free. Not only am I going to send the pictures in the plan for free, I'm willing to have her and she'll give of her expertise and time for free so that you know how to win the next time. You got it? Like, that's all there is to this. It's very simple, but you're getting caught up, like a lot of telemarketers do, in technique and tactic. You're caught up in, well, I made it more conversational. That's technique and tactic. That is not systematic plans. So the importance of training you in this is so that you get it, like, oh, duh, because what I'm teaching you and training you right now is logical. It is of service logic. But you're trying to infuse too much technique and tactic, especially in the first 7 seconds, and you just ended up in Africa, not England. 1 degree off. That's how it can be, because you can hear Gail's stress. She is stressed. She does not have this set up properly. So what's happened is, and this is why it's so difficult in the beginning, but so important, you just threw her into the everybody category. He perceives that she's coming over to be an everybody, to get a buyer by just seeing it and not listing it. So she's got the stress of having to go in there in an unauthentic way. She would rather authentically have him know she was coming over to take a look at the situation, to assess it, to give him some tips about when he does come on, what to do and what not to do, right? and then the benefits of her plan and how she would execute for him. So it's stressful because now what happens is, well, Gail is going to come over and she's going to she'll be able to give you listing advice. She's coming over as a buyer's agent right now in this guy's mind. So it's a big gap. That's what I mean. You ended up in Africa, not England. Because hang on one second on him. So you chart that course wrong, then we are set up like we're stressed. See, when Autumn sets one up and Laura puts the package together, I literally get there a little bit early, circle the area, look at the quality of the properties around it, sit in front of the house, look at it, open up my package, go straight to my seller qualifying questionnaire. How much do they think it's worth themselves? Really important question for me. Why are they moving? On a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are they? If I have those 3 things minimum, I am totally set up to serve that person best when I walk through the door. Yeah, Autumn, go ahead.
I was just thinking it might be important to talk about, maybe not today, but at a future meeting, talk about when they open a door, like words and phrases where a door actually opens for you to know which dart to send through it. Does that make sense?
It does, 100% it does. And if they have a systematic understanding of the beats, which she brought up, right? If you know effectiveness is, we need the avatar, number 1. So this has got to be somebody who is definitely interested in selling their property because they have a real reason and a real level of motivation, right? That's paramount. But if they go there like he did, to Autumn's point, when he says, I don't live there anymore, okay? Did your plans change to rent it? Or are you still wanting to sell it? Because what I could do is get Gail to come over. Not only can she see if she can match a buyer, but more importantly, she can bring this information and try to figure out why it didn't happen before. Well, I know why it didn't happen. Well, there might be some other things too. It doesn't hurt you. She is going to see if she has a buyer for it, but more importantly, she's going to look at it for you through the eyes of a listing agent. She's very successful at that. So that's to Autumn's point. If you're listening to what he's saying, you're reacting based on what value you can bring. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Gail, you want to add to that? Because I got to move on.
No, Danny, that's great. And Amanda and I talked about it. I think we understand.
Good.
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Yep. You're welcome. Well, again, I think it's wonderful that it comes up because it's about sticking to the yellow brick system. The minute you leave it, you're not effective. And I have to go in and close this thing. And you want to be part of this deal and you want me to close it and you want Laura to client care and close it so that everybody gets happy at the end with the paycheck. Okay. But the minute you don't do it the right way, like this isn't open to all of our opinions. We are in search of the way to be of service to a consumer whose initial reaction is to push back, push away, lead with their perceptions. That's why I always say the tail wagging the dog. Their perceptions are trying to wag you around. So you have to be tactically and technically correct to get through the woods, right? So that you can serve. They don't even know they're wounded. They don't know what they don't know.
Right.
They don't even know that they don't have a plan. They don't know that somebody didn't interpret it. They don't know. Yep.
So Danny, what I'm going to do is ask him why. I'm going to, before I get there today, I'm going to call him and ask those questions because I need to know whether, and I don't want him to think I'm just there for a buyer, that I have a buyer. I want him to know that, basically that I want to be able to present my plan, but more importantly, to personalize it, customize it, and come and see him.
Gail, just make sure he knows that when you leave, all that will be a gift.
Yes, I will.
Because their perception is you're coming in to muscle me, convince me, sell me that I should
it.
list with you and I'm not ready. Say, no, I am not. I am coming here to tell you exactly what I see and exactly what a buyer would see. So I will leave you empowered with not just information that I was going to send in the package, but my insight as to how you could win, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Good. Excellent. Bravo, ladies. Good stuff.
Thank you.
All right. Sam.
Thanks, Amanda.
Yeah, thank you, Amanda. Sam.
Thank you.
Sam, I have 5 calls from you, so I can't do them all. So do we have one in here that you want me to break down?
No, I think those calls are from last week, right? Well, they're pretty much the same. Honestly, I just have one question.
Go ahead, fire away. I'll take the question instead.
Okay. All right, cool. So yesterday I had the bad things. I don't have the recording for this call because
It's okay.
it was follow up. So it's this person that I sent a package over to a long time ago, and they didn't answer, whatever. But I know that their home hadn't sold or whatever. So I called him back, and he said that his home was unique, that it had no comparables, and I was on the phone like for 30 minutes because he gave me all the details of why his home was so unique, and that he's not going to get 1.5.
Okay.
Like, he won't take anything that's not worth 1.5.
Okay. All right. Stop. Good. So this is a perfect example. And I love that you're giving me this question on the tail of what I just said. This is a perfect example of their misperceptions about how our business works. Okay. Is that, and this is why there's danger in the word comparable. The truth is, Sam, there really is no such thing, because in real estate, we're not dealing in the commodity business. In other words, if I produce a whole bunch of oil, one barrel of oil is pretty much exactly like the other barrel of oil. It's called a commodity, right? They're the same. The problem with real estate, not a problem, but the challenge is that it's not commoditized like that. So even if I'm in an apartment building and I have the same layout of the unit, I have one unit that faces west, one that faces south, for example, right? So they immediately begin to have more variables. So, and people that are more eclectic or artsy or want to be different from everybody else because they're insecure, their misperception is around the word comparable. Having said that, at the end of the day, let's just give it to him and say, wonderful, you're right. Sounds like there's nothing like it. However, what we would tell you is, generically, if somebody in Seattle has $1.5 million to spend, the simple question for you to answer for yourself is, while you were on the market, what else sold a little bit below 1.5 and a little bit above? Nobody says it's comparable, but the buyers saw your offering, as unique as it is, and they saw these others and they bought those, right? So again, now you come back to what Gail was saying. If he can be brought back into a logical brain out of his emotional attachment to his wonderfully unique property, his piece of art, his baby, that's a very emotional state he's in. But if he can be brought back, guys, if he can be brought back down, right? If he can be brought back down to logical, where he sees the value, as just somebody has money and they can go spend it on something or not, well, then you're in good stead. You're reeling him back in. Say, look, that sounds great. Wonderful. Thanks so much for telling me about it. I'd like to send you a list of properties direct from the MLS that sold in this price range. And you can look at what the buyers were saying yes to in this price range. And then you can make the interpretation as to why yours didn't sell. And we'll slip in a copy of Paul's plan, the plan he uses for unique properties like yours or commoditized products, it doesn't matter. This is his plan. See what I'm saying? So it's exactly what I'm saying is their misperception has them locked down. Now, a lot of expireds especially have done business with an agent who won't lean in when the dog bites. The dog meaning the misperception. Well, you need a lot of agents at your company to sell. No, you don't. Well, prove it to me. 88% of the time, every sale in the MLS, and at least mine the last time I checked it, was one brokerage to a completely different brokerage, let alone different agents, right? The level of double ending a deal per se is a tiny fraction compared to the way most work. Let's presume it's 12% is in company, right? Meaning a broker from Griffin Realty Group, we double ended deal. Steve and I are doing one now. That's about 12% of the time. So if the best I could offer you was that 12% of the time, me or any big company, doesn't matter the size, that's the average. If that's all we could offer you, we had a problem. So one of the things we have to understand is that in the communication phase, for example, of the selling of the plan, we use showing time to coordinate all the information, get the feedback, pick up the phone. So see, these are all, Sam, the real ways in that pinwheel, in that 7 steps. There are a lot of microeconomic things that happen, but he's looking at that process and he's saying, my only problem is it's so unique. Got it?
Right. Yeah.
So you're trying to draw him down into what he wants first. Hey, sounds good. I'm not here to defend, the market against yours. Sounds unique. Let me just send you a bunch of properties that sold in that price range. You can look at them. You look at them. Well, I don't want to see them. Okay, well, wait a minute. Why were you selling it in the first place? If you're so in love with it, it's so unique. Why are you selling this in the first place? Why are you putting yourself through this? And you can lean in if you think you want to make sure he's not your problem going forward. So you say, look, why are you fighting this? I mean, do you really want to sell it? Do you have to sell it? Right? I mean, that's how you snap people back into, why are you defending this? There's a terminology, I don't love it, but I think it's a funny quip. Stop trying to buy your house back, right? Do you have a real reason to sell it? Yes or no? Because if you do, I got some good stuff for you. If you don't, well, then you're just going to continue on and own it. Buy it back. But if you are serious about selling, let us come in and explain to you how you sell a one-off unique property. Does that help, Sam?
Yeah, that helps a lot because I have no control on that call, honestly.
Yeah.
I was like, what do I say?
Yeah. Yeah.
He gave me so much details about it.
Yeah. And you don't need to know any of them. You need to pick up on a couple. Wow, beautiful. Autumn did that really well with a couple high-end folks because she was looking at it. She says, your stairway is absolutely gorgeous, right? So the only reason we didn't get in that house was because somebody actually helped them rent it and then they got the listing. So good for them. I mean, that was reasonable. And it was in an enclave type of place, but she knew exactly how to get me on the phone. I had a conversation, but the guy absolutely 100% was like, he wasn't listening to anybody. Right. So because, it just wasn't worth it. Even though it was a $7 million house, it's like, do we want to have this fight with this guy about his perceptions? So I'm only looking, can I pull you out of your misperceptions into a logical discussion? If so, you're my avatar. If not, hey, I can't win them all. Next. Right?
Yeah. He said something about commute. What's that? I'm sorry.
About what?
Commute.
Commuting? You mean?
Yeah, commuting. That's why he wanted to sell.
Yeah, commuting. He's trying to travel back and forth somewhere. His commute. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
what he said he wanted to sell.
You commute in Spanish. What's it mean? Right? Think about it. To go from a rural spot to Mexico City, for example, right? That's your commute, your drive, your train trip, your bus trip. That's the commute. So if he's too far out, like if he's working in the city and he's commuting from a rural spot, because that's where his unique property is. Was it rural?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. That's why he's out in the woods somewhere and he's driving too far in. It's too long. So he's right. There's not a lot of comparables per se that are commoditized. He's out in the woods, unique, alone, but it doesn't matter. What does 1.5 buy? Because it bought something out there rurally. You might have to go 10 miles out to find it. He's right. So it gets thinner. So we get more commoditized, meaning they're more similar when we get in the city. Does that help?
Yeah, that helps a lot.
Good.
Because I didn't know. When he
That's
told me
okay.
that, I was like,
That's okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. Did you grow up as a native Spanish speaker first or English speaker?
English speaker.
Yeah.
Born and raised in LA.
Yeah.
But most of like my life, Mexico.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm like, what?
Well, you don't think in that language. That's why, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, you do. You think in both, but the language is confusing. If you've, if you've been in Mexico thinking in Spanish, it's a tough gear shift, right? So, all right.
I'm learning.
Yep, no doubt.
I'll get there.
Well, I love the fact that you're humble enough to ask simple questions. That's how you get better.
Yeah.
Bravo. All right. Who's next? Let's switch over to outside sales. If I go bonus time and somebody missed an inside sales call they want me to listen to, I'll do it after I go outside sales. I'm looking to hear from some of my outside sales agents, especially my mastermind members. I want to hear about some of your deals and some of your challenges. I've got a couple that I'll deal with, but I prefer yours. Right? Hi, Elena.
Was patient.
Oh, hi, Elena. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. So
Go ahead. I had to mute a couple things. Yvonne, I had to keep you muted there. Go ahead.
Okay. So I have a client, a buyer client now. So yay for me.
Yeah. Good. Awesome.
And I'm doing it, another agent and me are doing it together.
Okay.
But she's not on right now. So,
and why are you doing it together? Tell me that.
why are we doing it together?
Yeah, where'd the buyer come from? What's the genesis of the buyer? Where's the birth of the buyer? Where'd you find that lead?
It was a referral from our spheres.
Okay, our spheres? Is this a friend of yours?
Sphere.
Who's this other
Yeah.
gal?
What?
Who's the other gal?
Her name's Amanda Harity, and she's with Egan
Okay.
with me.
Okay. All right. Who initiated the deal?
I sent out a bunch of postcards to a bunch of people I knew,
Yeah.
and it was a friend of a friend who got the postcard.
Okay, your friend, and it was their friend, and they called you. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm a little bit lost as to why there's somebody else, and I'm concerned about that. Were you nervous to handle this yourself?
No, we just work really good together and wanted to start a team.
Why? Do you know why? This is a big issue, so I'm going to deal with you right now, right? For anybody, this is a big issue. So you hang on. No, this is outside sales. You just made a decision to cut your revenue in half on something you birthed. Okay. This is a business. You're an independent contractor inside a partnership with another business called Egan Realty Group, which is supplying you with training, coaching, etc. And you did a good job. You sent something out, you procured a lead, and then you got them to do something. I'm just lost as to why you would want to cut your revenue in half, right? It's not a good business model. I've seen it in this industry for a long time. People band their rafts together in this concept of team, and all of a sudden you just took revenue and cut it in half for something that you procured. Now, for this team concept to work, she has to go out, procure something of the exact same money, and give you half of it together. So I'm concerned that as a new agent, you might be a little bit insecure in your self-image, which would be totally normal and totally acceptable, and exactly why we do these calls. So I'm just going to plant that seed in your head. And I would tell her if she were on here, I don't know why you two have decided to do this like this. Other than my suspicion is you're both new and tying rafts together feels good. Okay. So that's a real issue.
Okay.
Okay. Now go on to the deal. I want to hear the rest of, I want to flow along this, this deal. So when it came in, did that friend of a friend DM you, call you? Tell me what happens next.
So the friend that received the postcard texted and said, "Hey, great timing. One of my friends lives in Michigan and is moving back to Louisville.
Yep.
I sent her your information." And I said, "Wow, thank you so much for referring me.
Yep.
I can't wait to hear from her." And then that night I got an email
Yep.
from her.
From her. Good. What'd the email say?
"Hi, I'm moving back." I'm just paraphrasing.
Yeah, it's okay. Go for it.
From Michigan to Louisville within the next couple months. I need a realtor.
Good. And yep. Go ahead. Cut you off. Sorry. Go ahead.
And then we scheduled a phone call and basically went over the plan. We talked about, I sent her the plan, the overview first. And then I said, "I sent you an email. Let's schedule a time to talk." And then when we talked about the plan. And she, at that point, did not have her financing.
Good.
But now she does.
Good. Good. Okay, good. You helped her do that?
Sort of. So she had spoken to somebody, but it was like taking forever. So then we gave her like the lender that Chris knows.
Good.
And that is who.
Awesome. Well, that's not see, Elena, I'm on to something with you right now. You're doing an excellent job, but you don't believe it. I can hear it in your voice. Sort of is not at all what happened. It's exactly what happened through your guidance, your powerful guidance. You found the person through procurement in marketing. You followed up. You got them. You found out their first problem as their representative was that somebody was dragging their feet in financing. You initiated the contact with the lender, correct?
It was Amanda, yes.
Okay. So now, how does Amanda get involved at that point in time? Why did Amanda call this person and not you if you were the initial conversation?
Well, I didn't really I definitely could have done it. She knows him and worked with him before with Chris.
With the lender?
Yeah, because Amanda, she's bought from Chris before. So she already knew the lender.
Okay. I got really confused. Who's Amanda? Is that the client?
No,
Okay.
that's the other agent.
Okay. All right. I got lost as to where she came in here to help you. Like you're really worried about something that I'm trying to extract here, which is a very teachable, coachable moment. Okay. So the question is that when they came in, Chris is the broker owner and he's charged with helping you with anything. But instead you went to Amanda and partnered up, quote unquote, just over a phone call?
No.
Okay. I'm lost.
Okay, so our lender, the lender that Chris sends his clients to his name is Austin, and I think, yes, that's correct. And I had that information beforehand, and we had a group text going, and I was like, hey, have you gotten your pre-approval in? And the client said, I don't know. They keep telling me that the person's on vacation.
Austin is on vacation?
No, the other, this bank.
Okay.
I don't know what bank it was, but this bank.
Okay, got it.
And so then Amanda was like, oh, the Austin is a lender, and I think that he can talk to you and do it pretty quickly. So here's the phone number.
Okay. So who initiated Austin? Oh, you've put Amanda in here. You dragged her in here. And she's the one that suggested Austin? Did I get it right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Look, it's fine, but we might need a private conversation, you, me, and Amanda. I don't understand why all of a sudden, where did you get the concept of team, by the way? Who taught you about team?
When I bought my house.
Keep coming. When you bought your house, what?
One of our realtor, when I first was interested in real estate, had a conversation with her and a meeting with her.
Yeah. Okay. It said what?
And she talked about teams.
Yeah. Okay. Look, you joined Chris Egan and Allison Egan, who, if they ever suggested that you team up with somebody in their company, I would tase them, right? I would tase them because there's an issue there. What you don't understand is here we go again with perceptions. Your perception of the way that this business works could hurt you. Okay. And I know you're feeling a little beaten up because I can hear it in your voice. I'm not beating you up. I'm educating you. You want to take this advice from me. Believe me. In a business, if I bring in a commission, the broker owner who's taking all the risk with, running the business and bringing you in systems and how things work, they're at the top. So they get their piece of the puzzle to do all that. But the unique selling proposition that we have in this group is to teach you that there are plans, and you got this within a week. You're intelligent, you're smart, you understood the 7 steps and the 6 steps very quickly. But what's happening is, like most people, your self-image as a realtor is a dwarf at the moment. It's small, it's scared, and that's respectable and understandable. But that's why we rely on a plan. Because when you look at that plan, you went and you marketed, you found somebody, you talked about representation, and you talked about the plan intelligently, and they started to engage you. I'm still confused as to when Amanda came in on this deal, or you brought her in. And now globally, because you got scared. Well, I don't know what to do here. Well, you're supposed to go to Chris or me. What do I do? Well, you just get to know Austin. Austin, I'm new with Egan Realty Group, and I want to be able to come directly to you when I have somebody. Austin would be hugging you if you said that to him. No problem. Anytime, anywhere, any place. Send him my way. Copy us on a text, and I'll get her, pre-approved. Then,
Exactly.
while that's going on, now you say, all right, the next thing I do for you is I put you into MLS, and you begin to see what's sold. We're going to guess based on the initial conversation with Austin and where you think, what price range you think you'll be in. Of course, we can refine it after Austin tells you where you really are. But let's get you into MLS. Let's look at some solds. Let's get them to you so you can see what the money's buying. And you would tell me, would you buy that? We'll also put you on for sales so you can see what's coming on. By the way, when are you coming back to Louisville? Are you here now? Will you be back? Because I'd like to take you out and show you three or so of your favorites so we can see what the money really looks like in the field, right? That doesn't require anybody other than the broker owner and me to guide you. You follow me, Elena?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because you now have to, you being anybody. If somebody says, well, I'm a little bit scared, I'm going to team up. And this is why it happens at brokerages left and right. People team up out of fear. That's what they do. Big teams, like some of the ones that I coach, they're really brokerages and businesses. They're not splitting each of their fee 50-50 with somebody. Because the minute you do that, now you have a partnership issue. And gosh, I've got some people in here. Dean Miller tell you about partnership. I'll tell you about partnership. That presumes that each person can equally bring a 50% value to this. Okay. And that at the end of the year, when there's a look back, it's clear that each person would have brought 50-50. And that the benefit would be is that you would have sold at least together what you each would have sold individually. So it just gets really complicated to make it equitable. And inevitably, you're setting yourself up for a fight and an argument. And what you lose is the build out of your own confidence to do it on your own. I've coached so many thousands of hours in so many years. I know this movie and I know how it ends, and it ain't pretty. So my best advice here is stay to what you were doing for the first several months or weeks that I've heard your name. You came on, you asked your questions, you stuck to the plan, but you would need a whole other coaching program from me or somebody, and I wouldn't offer it because I would say, don't do that. You would have to understand the math and how it works, because now you have to sell twice as much, presuming that if you two come together and you do half the work, she does half. Let's say you sell 20 homes. Okay. And that's what your goal was individually. Well, now you have to sell 40 homes. It's a big difference, right? It's a big difference. So I'm sure you didn't bargain for this conversation, but I can't watch you run over the side of a cliff. And you tell Amanda I said this, right? So because it's a problem. Allison, you want to weigh in on this?
I had to find the mute button there. Oh no, I totally understand where you're coming from with this. I mean, this is really good advice, and I would hate for them to have to double their work as new agents like this. I mean, it sounds like it'd be more stressful than what it's worth at this time.
Well, yeah.
I mean, being friends and giving each other feedback, having ideas during our meetings, I'm totally all for that. That's why we're here on this call with you.
Yeah.
I mean, we're learning from you, and we give each other feedback.
Right.
We ask you for ideas. Danny, what about this postcard? What about that?
That's something that we've said before, and I'll say again, Elena, anything that you want to submit to Danny, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? He's not going to not answer that, for sure, as well as Chris and I. I mean, anytime.
But in the meantime, what she's already doing well is she doesn't need to be creative. See, there's a strange desire for people to lead with creativity versus accepting the power of an already proven systematic core. Let's just call it a core. Everybody has the same bone structure because that's the way the business works. So we've done all this discovery to say, look, we found out that if you will offer a simple 7-step plan to sellers and a simple 6-step plan to buyers, it will keep you grounded, them empowered. Okay. Now, how you talk to them, when you go out with them, what you suggest to them, that's the clothing you put on top of the bone structure. That's your flesh. That's what makes you unique. But the minute you start to run your business based on perceptions, you get really hurt. And the reason why I'm passionate about this subject right here is that here we go again. If you start off incorrectly with your perception of what Michael Gerber's question is, well, how does the agent business really work? Well, I just went off on how it doesn't work well. But I am going to go off on how it works well. If you will continue to follow where you're at with that buyer and just recognize each stage that you're at and go to your broker, me, sure, for moral support, you and Amanda have your rafts tied together. We're both rookies. Isn't this great? Sure. But to get into a business model that neither one of you understand, I'm warning you that now you've gone outside the guardrails of being able to be protected, right?
Truth. I think they both have great energy and they're just, Elena's on all these calls. I'm really excited.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was shocked when I was shocked.
Allison,
I was shocked when I heard it because I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I've been following this like quick success. She marketed, she converted, she was now going into helping with the financing and somewhere in there while she's gaining that and she's walking down that ladder, well, as you called it, the well-lit path, she bails, right?
So what's her question?
Yeah.
She had a question.
Yep. Go ahead. I'm sure I hijacked it, Gail, because I'm sure the question, is biased by this, right? Go ahead, Elena.
I don't think I had a question.
Okay. So
I just wanted to talk about how we did well and we talked about the plan.
Yeah, you did. I've been
Yeah.
celebrating you for 2 weeks, but see, it's the we that scared me. I'm all about you. I'm here to be of service and her too, but you did. And you're still working the plan, right?
Yeah, like she's coming down Sunday and
you
I've already put in showing time. Like, I think we're at 7 now.
7 properties to see.
Yeah, like it's done. The
Bravo.
done.
Bravo.
Super.
I could send it to Allison. I was about to do that.
Thank you
That's
for
awesome.
Elena. Thank you for
Everybody has all the information.
Thank you for validating that you're good at this. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, that you're really good at this and you're following the yellow brick road, but you just gave up half of your revenue on one of your deals. And why do you think you did that?
I mean, I have an answer, but I feel like
Go ahead. No. Don't worry about what I say. Give me your answer. What's your answer?
that the money doesn't really matter to me.
Okay, you're going to get really hurt by that. The money does matter to you. It's a business. This is a business and it's ruthless. And what scares me about that is by the time you pay expenses and taxes, it won't be worth it, because I would rather have you go into a charity if you're not working for money, right? So at the end of the day, the way business really works, the money does matter to you. Like, do you not need money? Are you independently wealthy? Why do you do this? Maybe I need to go backwards. What's the reason for becoming an independent contractor, real estate agent?
Do I have to say it like, okay.
Hang in there. I know you're emotional, really big moment in your life professionally. Psst, hang in there. Hang in there. Come on, safe environment. Why are you doing this? Let's go backwards.
So when I bought my house in March 2019,
Yep.
I was in a really bad place.
Yep.
And it was just having a house and a place to grow and a place to think and like just safety and like
Yep.
just having a house. I think as long as people have the finances to pay for it, should be a right.
Okay.
And I want to provide that ministry to others.
Perfect. Amen, sister. You're getting it. Trust me, this choir is standing up saying, preach, right? I know this body of work here. Okay. And you're safe right now. You're safe. You're safe. You're safe. As much as I'm a weirdo and I'm aggressive, you're safe. This is for your safety. But I also knew that story, but I needed you to reconnect to it. Okay. You have a humongous why you're doing this. To be of service is a natural for you. But somewhere along that line where you lost confidence because of that bad place, I want it restored today. I will fight for the restoration of your self-confidence and your self-image today. And I would say that to Amanda, thank you so much for helping Elena feel built up and safe. But from a business standpoint, as you both build and learn, we've got to understand how the business works. Now, you could go forward and do it together, and your equity, I understand, would be, I was of service, Danny. It doesn't matter to me. I understand that, and I appreciate that. But I would, I guess, ask that you consider what I'm saying. That's all. Ask. You are a superstar in the making because you are an excellent trainable person. You are very coachable and you follow the yellow brick system and it's working. But along that pathway on the well-lit path, it felt safer, because this is a huge word for you. It felt safer to pull somebody else in that made you feel even more safe, right? I get it. I completely appreciate it. But I'm saying, oh, come on, girl, just walk the whole thing. Finish this one transaction by yourself so that at the end of it, I know how that movie ends in that one walk of the wheel. I know how it ends. And I'm just screaming for you from the stands. You can do it. You can do it. Because at the end, when you cross that finish line, there's a click up in your self-image that cannot be taken away. Yes, you'll snap back from time to time, but nobody can take away that self-image equity that you build. But if you look back and say, well, I could have never done it without Amanda, not true. See, what the Egan's and I are trying to do is empower you to stand on your own 2 feet in a confident way. And all we're here for is to teach and train the system that empowers you. We are all about your personal empowerment. I'm sure Amanda is too, and I'm about hers too in a different context. But you have come out of the box hot as one of the best outside sales students in the group. I just want you to walk this one as alone as you possibly can. Allison, your directive from me is sit down with both of them, talk through what we just talked about. This is about the empowerment of this young woman who has a huge why. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
Hey, Danny.
yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I was going to say this segues into another topic. I don't know if this is fitting for the sales call or if we should take it up on one-on-one or another conversation. So we have another agent that came on board a couple months before Amanda and Elena. He'd been in the business for a couple of years, and he came on board throwing a ridiculous amount of money at Zillow. Mm-hmm. And of course, as you know, I used to be on that train with Sync, and am not any longer because I don't like that type of business. It's too scattered, too diffused. And in the same position that we found ourselves in, he is getting lead flow that he can't handle. In fact, it's even worse because I guess the way Zillow works is that anytime someone clicks on, yes, I want to see this house, it gets sent out to 4 agents simultaneously, and whichever one picks up that phone first gets the lead, the others get abandoned. So he had...
You mean Zillow? You mean Zillow as the plug?
Zillow's the plug, right? Yeah, exactly. And you know, he told me, and I told him straight off the bat. He said we was spending on Zillow, and I said I wouldn't do it. I'd cut that off. It's not worth it. And he said, "Oh, I'm getting all these leads." And I said, "What do you got?" He said, "Well, I've got one now that's out in Shepherdsville, another one in Mount Washington, which, you know, to familiarize you with our geography, that's like 45 minutes away, 45 minutes away from where Elena, Amanda, Allison, and I all live.
Yeah.
And we're talking like little piddly, $90,000, $150,000 leads. I told him I'd cut that off. But in the meantime, he said, oh, well, I'm getting all this lead flow. And I said, well, okay, well, if you wanted to refer that to Amanda or Elena and they wanted to take it,
Well, Chris, I will deal with it. I think what Elena has opened up is a good discussion about how does the business work for an agent. It's a really important, question. And so as we've been in the realty classroom and Allison's been at the lead of this with me, we look at, and Jen from my own team, we look at if somebody comes on today, and Elena, this is what I'm saying, Elena's like one of my favorite students because she went and listened to us. She trusted us. She went and learned the seller course. She went and learned the buyer course, right, Allison? When you looked at those 9 points, that are in the Dropbox, it's like, look, number 1, download the magazine for the seller and the buyer course, and then the infographics. Then watch Danny talk about each one for 17 minutes apiece with the thing in front of you, taking your notes, making it your own, right? She did that. Check. Right? Yeah. Now, once you get that, it becomes about, okay, now that you're contented that you have rooted in a unique selling proposition. What is your unique selling proposition? Why you? Because I have a plan for you. Period. That's it. So once you learn that, now you go, okay, but I better be ready to talk globally to the world. So once a month with my team leaders, okay, we're going to talk about how the market is with a templated newsletter. And we're going to talk about the narrative in there so that when a conversation comes up on social or whatever it might be, you can answer the question, how's the Louisville market? Boom. Now we've got the 2 core pieces. How's the market? If you want to sell or buy, I've got a plan for you, right? Then we get into the upsell of the service, which is procuring solds. So the buyer sees what the money's buying. The seller sees what's affecting them. And then if they want to go deeper, here's the plan to get prepared and see the whole process, right? So Chris, when you look back to that initial hiring and you look back to that avatar, you didn't necessarily hire him in that mode. So he comes in with whatever he wants to do, which is most agents, the reason they fail is they want to run off with their perception and do what we knuckleheads did once upon a time, run into the wall a bunch of times until we figured it out. Right? So his desire to, and guys are like this too, their testosterone runs, I want my idea. I want my idea. Okay, good. Go run into the wall. I mean, most of the people that come to me for coaching at the highest end these days are burnt. They're sick physically. They've made themselves physically sick. So when you get a plug like Zillow, who's like, they're getting you addicted to their game, which is nothing more than the inquiry online game. And you may or may not do any business out of that, right? Because you don't know the process of conversion properly. You don't know how to offer a plan properly. So his problem is that I wouldn't want to poison Elena and Amanda's business with those types of leads. Why would I want to do that? Because they're just beginning to do what they should do, which is hustle their own sphere. Right? And get talking real estate first. Because if we pull their attention off of that and we start throwing them at leads that are way out there because we put it under the guise of practice. Well, it's great practice. No, it's not great. Because now we take away that business model for our agents here that we're training in the second half of the call. We say, look, is Elena choosing a geography within which she prefers to work? Does she know the median price? Is she trying to target that median price? Because Elena, that's where the money is, right? We're trying to teach you to be a successful average agent, meaning money-wise, in the geography you prefer to go. So Chris, as the broker owner, if you take the mistakes of that guy and you put them on them, you've thrown the girls, ladies, okay, women, over the guardrails. You've sent them outside the well-lit path. Don't do that.
Makes sense.
Don't do that.
Chris, I don't want to work in Shepherdsville.
There you go. Hey, see, this is why I like you. This is why I like you, Elena. This is what I'm trying to tell you. See, there's the voice. All kidding aside, Elena, there's the voice I'm looking for. That's the one. Right?
Gotcha.
Unfortunately, I think I may have already said that I would do this Shepherdsville, so I'm going to be one and done.
Yeah. Well, look, I like you. You're of service. You're a fabulous person. I know that. I'm not patronizing you. You know me. I can be a pain in the tail. But the bottom line is you got so much that's inside you waiting to break out into a real businesswoman. You sounded a little bit mousy when you started because that's something tugging on your self-image. That woman who said, I'm not doing that, that's the one I want to hear from. I love her.
Hey, Danny, let me jump in with something else to challenge you here too, or just something that I think would be benefit the whole group. We all live, as far as Amanda, Elena, Allison, and I, we all live in a fairly tight geography. Louisville is very much a big, small town, despite what the numbers may tell you. So, I think, and I can only speculate, Elena, feel free to chime in, but I can only speculate that perhaps some of the desire to team up may have come from a desire not to step on each other's toes as well. If you're talking about working inside the same geography or with people you both know.
Cool.
So in reference to those,
is that true, Elena? Hold on, Elena, is that true for you?
Yeah, like we both want to work Shelby Park, Central Burg.
Awesome. Awesome, Chris. See, this is why Chris is a good leader, Elena. This is why you want to go to him. He and Allison have these perceptions. They know. So here it is. We're going to resolve it even deeper. Keep coming, Chris.
So barring the concept of teaming up, what would you advise as best practice to avoid folks stepping on each other?
Well, I mean, if let's just say they both grew up in the area and they're going after their friends and they trip over each other. I think the first thing that you teach them is you go in and you take all the solds from the last consecutive 12 months and you show them how much actually happens. And you show them how little each top producer even controls. I think that's probably the biggest eye opener that I had early on in the business, that there's always a perception in the beginning of scarcity, and that me and Amanda, we're going to trip all over each other. Right. And again, I love the camaraderie. I'm not trying to rip it apart per se. If there's a reasonable, situation where they both collide into the same person, work it together. Great. No problem. But as a business model, because we're afraid of doing that versus figuring out how not to do it. You follow me? Like, look, there's only so many people Amanda's going to know and Elaine is going to know, and they're going to be different, right? That would presume that everybody who's a nice person in Louisville doesn't want to trip over each other's toes, right? Like, that's not the way the business really works. From time to time, people used to say that about the broker owner. Oh, you're competing with your broker owner. My gosh, I want to line those knuckleheads up and say, what small-brained people you are, right? Like to say that's your biggest challenge when I'm recruiting somebody, to say you think they compete with me. If I ever tripped over one of my agents, which I never do, right? If I did, I'd give them the deal as their partner, right? I'd say, look, you know them just as well as I do. You take the lead on it. That would be the end of it. Like, it's just so easy to resolve. So I would rather they waited until that kind of happened, versus worrying about it from the start and building a business model over it. It's a legitimate reason. And listen to her talk. She's a sweetheart, right? I mean, again, this is what you're looking for in raw materials of a budding superstar. But that sweetheart can turn into Shrinking Violet type of thing where, now all of a sudden you're everybody's doormat, not in a negative way, but you're diminutizing yourself. We need the bigger version of Amanda and Elena to exist in this place, and we will resolve the issues as they occur, Chris.
That's very respectable.
Got it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just good business, Allison, right? It's like this is about individual empowerment. And here's this young woman with a huge why. She gets emotional deeply, right? This is like she's coming out of this dark place into this thing to serve. What a wonderful, fabulous rocket fuel to launch you. I'm trying to protect that emergence, right? It sounds aggressive when you do it. You guys understand me. Now she does. You're trying to protect that emergence of the individual. I don't even know Amanda's why. I don't know her situation, but it would be the identical conversation for her, right? Is to go do similar things. If you want to kibitz around the campfire together, okay, so you send a postcard over here. You send one over here. It's the same postcard and you encourage each other. You drop the mail the same day. That's camaraderie. That's teamwork. Right?
Because teamwork. Also, if you're gonna develop a team, by the way, something I've heard you say before, you have to have a plan. I mean, that's not just something that you.
I said to Jen Swalick in my own office, you have to know well, why are you talking about a telemarketer? You don't have a telemarketing problem yet. Why does anybody talk about a CRM? You don't have a CRM problem yet. Why are you talking about buying an expensive lead platform or expensive leads from somebody like Zillow? How do you know you're a lead problem? And by the way, if you buy leads, do you even know that this conversion becomes a huge problem? How are you going to deal with conversion on a number of leads that you are now addicted to? A lot of them are just whimsical inquiries. You're wasting a lot of time. What's your follow-up system? And again, I'm not trying to overwhelm people with the reality of the business, but there's a reality to the business. If we can simplify it for Elena, which we were doing, and the same for Amanda. If Amanda could duplicate the activities that Elena did to get some of her own people talking to her, and then they encouraged each other in there, or even if they covered for each other. Hey, Elena, I'm going away for the weekend. Do you mind taking Bobby out? No sweat, right? That's what I'm looking for, right? That's what I'm looking for. Just not the business model. So, Elena, does that all make sense? Hold on, Elena, that all makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. You're kicking and screaming though, so go ahead. I can hear it inside. Go ahead. One more bite at the apple, or are you done?
No.
Yeah. Well, we could talk privately too. I'll give you some one-on-one time since I went that deeply with you. You can have at me one-on-one to discuss this a little bit deeper. I probably owe you a deeper explanation because you're good. Like you've popped up. You have emerged on this call. How about that? Bravo. You've emerged, but you don't know what you know at that new plateau. We just got a heavy dose of it and you're having trouble reconciling it. That's normal. It's okay. You're being like aggressively coached and that can make you feel beaten up. Don't. I'm protecting something that's emerging out of you. You don't know that yet because you don't know me that well and you're not one of my primary one-on-one clients, but that's what we do. We try to keep evolving that persona that is so necessary to win. Go ahead, Dean. You wanted to add something here.
I was just going to say, I jumped on and off, so I apologize if you covered it, but I heard the line that the money wasn't important. And I hear the whole fellowship and wanting to give back and you having all these big reasons. Understand one thing. Here's a reason why to look at why the money is important. Because Danny knows from me, I don't go to work for money anymore. I go to work to solve problems. And part of the problems that I'm trying to solve are all philanthropic endeavors. So if you had that money to contribute to those charitable organizations, groups, individual people, that becomes the driving force. You've just got to own it and say the money is not the evil thing. The problem is the evil thing. The money can help solve those problems. So keep an open mind to that and understand that you're driving for a better good.
Yeah, and make room for both. You know what I mean? Just make room for both. Profit's not a dirty word. Money's not a dirty word. And by the way, money's just a byproduct of doing something correctly. I mean, it flowed out of your business when you spent money on the postcards. It flowed out of your business in terms of your time on the phone, following up and doing all that. It flows out of your business in terms of time of setting up showing time and showing the properties. When it all goes under agreement and you've negotiated it, it flows back in to cover all that. And so what we hope is that the inflow at the end, your take of the commission, covers all the cost of your time and effort, right? And then we got to pay our taxes and then we have the money to spend for ourselves. That's math. So it is our responsibility as independent contractor business owners to just understand that basic formula. And to respect that. And to treat profit as the sustainability of this thing. And look at, if you want to help a lot of women out of places that you were in, and that becomes your specialty, divorcees or somebody who's in a bad relationship, and that this is a right, and you got put in a bad place, or you got homeless for a while. All those people are going to be your avatar to serve. Okay. So the ability to make a profit and invest maybe some money back into a Facebook ad that targets them to say, there's hope for you. There's hope and safety in a home. Like that's your rally cry. But your business needs the money to reinvest, to put you there. More postcards, more advertising to accelerate it. So I think we have to respect the business and the way it really works and not just fall for the real emotional why. Let the emotional why be the nucleus. That's the thing. It's like the sun that burns inside you that never goes out. It is the eternal energy inside your business. However, the profit is the sustainability to keep that energy moving in a direction. All right. I'll take maybe one last, I'm over time today, but anybody have a burning question or a comment on what's been covered today? Yeah. Anybody comment? All my mastermind members, anybody? Any other outside sales agents want to speak up? Or is Elena the big sister for all of you today, you big wimps?
I think, Danny, I think we've all been there.
Yep.
Those of us, I think a lot of us are called into this business.
Alan, you have. Share with her.
Yes.
Nobody better than you right now. Share with her. Give her some hope.
I get emotional.
Yep.
I'm emotional just listening.
Yep. Come on now.
And I struggled through this my first year, 30 years ago.
Yep.
That while I look at it as a ministry, it is my livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
And if I give it away, then, so for me, I struggled with that. I realized that I can't save everybody and I can't help everybody. I can only do what I can. And I've made that decision to be very focused on the people that I will and won't help. Because a lot of times people, it's like, I think the analogy I was given to one time in therapy is, if somebody's drowning, the safe thing to do is not to jump in the water and help that drowning person, because a lot of times the drowning person will drown you.
Mm-hmm.
It's safer to be from shore or from a boat and throw across a life ring. And that's what I try to do in my business, is be safe on shore with the systems we have in place, and try to rescue those people that need my help buying or selling from a safe position, and not get drugged down.
Yeah.
So I don't think that you have to, this is just me personally, that I have to give a vow of poverty in order to help people. I'm just fortunate that I enjoy helping people and I can make money doing it.
Yeah. Again, like I said, I don't think they're mutually exclusive concepts. And you know that. I know that. Chris and Allison know that. Dean knows that. We know that. But this is what we're trying to do, is take somebody like an Elena, make her feel comfortable that is all possible. Right. And it is emotional. Hey, Elena, you just heard somebody that's been in the business and around this body work a long time get emotional, because when we all get reconnected to the why we do something, it's very easy to want to explain away the business. But what we've done over time is we've found a balance of the two. To be of service is the, and I'll leave us today with this line. Oh, go ahead. You wanted to add something else?
So what I've learned is I do my real estate. Obviously, it's a way I can give back and help people that want to be helped, because not everybody's my avatar. But it's also allowed me the financial freedom to be able to go to the North Texas Food Bank and volunteer my time there, doing backpacks for children so they'll have food to get them through the weekend, and or to do my reading partners, where I help those children that are reading below grade level to hopefully improve their literacy so that they can get up to their grade level. Mm-hmm. So I use my real estate money to afford me time to give back to the community. Yeah, good. Love it. All right. Well, listen, let's just leave it on that. Be of service and the rest will follow, but don't be naive about how the business works. We get them both done here. And they can both coexist. And so, just stick to the yellow brick system. The well-lit path, like Allison says, is probably the best way to put it. And I think the rest will follow. Elena, I am proud of you. And I'm happy for you. And the world needs you to get this right, because there are a lot of people that are in a similar situation. That I like your attitude about housing is a right, safety is a right. I like that. And so be the voice of that. And I just want to be up underneath that, not on top of it. I hope you understand that, and that you understood the critique today and the course correction, because the three of us, myself, Allison, and Chris, would like to be underneath that and push it up the hill, because you won't need as much hugging to make you feel safe soon. You will be the voice that people will come and hug because they see you overcome this. So I'm proud of you, and I'm in your corner. All right, everybody, listen, have a fabulous weekend. Go be of service to people. Have conversations about real estate, or none of this. We don't get these coachable moments. You have to go engage. Nobody's coming for you. You know how this ends. All right. See you on the other side. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks, Danny.
Bye, gang.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.